and welcome to the TnB F1 2018. Of course, that all-important championship today with a chance, and of course no gaff pick tonight, 19 points. Gaff pick not here, so no points for gaff picks, and if Nismax win, it's Nismax's title. Of course, anything below first place, and it's gaff pick's title. So with that said, here we go. Qualifying one is about to get underway. And I also just want to say welcome to my fellow commentators. Of course, for the last couple of races, Mr. Jonathan Fernandez, aka The Voice. And on guest commentary again, we got for Robbie, just like last week. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, and hello all.
Hello everybody. Obviously, Jan's already mentioned this important race we have ahead of us today. Obviously got Nismax second in the championship, 19 points behind. And the only thing that can jump those 19 points is a victory. But Gav, he's not here today. But if he had been, he just needed to finish in the top 5 and he would have taken the championship.
But yeah, now with Gaff Pick not here, it's win for Nismax. Anything less than a win and it's Gaff Pick's championship, even if he's not here.
Nismax still has 1 or 2 drivers to worry about that could spoil the party. Some other fast drivers on the grid. Obviously Wazzy is there.
Oh, and welcome Staffy, right back at you. And I see Staffy's also saying there's going to be rain in this race. Singapore wet. Ooh.
Oh, and again.
Robbie prays for rain and rain never comes. But when Robbie seems to visit the commentary box,
then it rains.
Then it rains. Rob, I think it's time you stop asking for rain altogether. Just pray for a dry race. Like everyone else does. Except the commentators. We get entertainment value.
Oh, and Heno already into a barrier.
Oh, not good. It's going to be challenging.
Has all 4 wheels on the car. Almost again. But guys, I don't know how much relevant this is, but when I was on S1 okay. Yeah, okay, I don't know, it's Isotronic.
Isotronics, just say Isotronics, Sean. Oh, it looks like Heno again was on contact here with a barrier.
But like I was saying, when I followed Isotronic out of the pits, the safety car was flipping onto his side and back onto his wheels, so good start.
That's not what we want to see, but it's all part of the show. Very interesting helmet design for Cowboy.
Heno back in the pits. Heno decided that's what he needs. Obviously he sustained some damage there. Aborted that lap and came back in.
The lap time. Not sure who was out on circuit first.
Isotronic was the first one out on circuit.
Quite a couple of cars out already. And by the way, just want to say welcome to all of our viewers. Nice to have you, of course, for the final race of this season. And then, of course, after this, racing will resume all in the new year. Of course, as always, guys, please feel free to post your comments, be part of this conversation. Of course, I know you can't talk back to us, but you can sure do by posting those comments.
It just adds to the experience when you're able to communicate with people who are watching the race and enjoying the race. And
good evening,
if you have any questions that we're able to answer, we'll try and help.
And there's a late joiner from Thunder.
Is he in?
Is he out in qualifying? Yeah, he just joined.
Okay, cool.
I think he might have left the session just before we got started.
Yeah, because we were actually 18 cars going into the start of this.
So then he will most likely miss the entirety of qualifying. Start from the back, unless anyone gets disqualified.
Yellow flag again.
Don't have any lap times on our
probably
screens just yet.
Probably slowing down. Oh, there we go, Ronald.
There we go, a 1:38.2. Sets the benchmark. Sets the benchmark in practice earlier. I did see 137s.
Oh,
But
where's
I have heard some inside information from the drivers, and apparently tyre wear at this circuit is quite difficult to manage.
Yes, I believe so.
DW goes over the line in a 139, so a 139, but a 139.7.
Nice to
For
say.
the time being, Ronald's got a good lap time there.
Well, I must say, welcome back, Blixenpie. And the Wolf goes fastest.
Goes over the line and sets a 137.9. Puts him in the top of the table for now. Still got some quick drivers. They haven't set a lap time yet.
Nesmax is on his lap now.
Because I expect some bad internet stuff again tonight. Because a lot of rain in and around the country. Heavy storms taking place as we speak. And Tix goes fastest, 136.8.
136.8.
That's a whole second on the Wolf.
Moving that bar down a lot. The initial lap was by Ronald. It was a 138.2. We're now looking at 136.8. More and more drivers now over the line setting their lap time. So you can start to get a clearer indication of who's quick and who's not.
Just riding here with Nesmax
But
to see what's
obviously
happening.
this is just Q1. 11 minutes remaining, so guys do have probably even enough time for 3 runs. Then you can't stay out for second for more than one fastest lap. See, Park Ferme is off, so drivers are able to adjust things if the car doesn't feel right to them. Definitely just running wide there and clipping the wall.
Nesmax coming around. Nesmax goes second.
Nesmax second for the time being.
Of course, it's interesting to see.
That's another thing we need to remember is that the positions are going to be split up. So
Judge with a 5+ grid penalty and Cam collided. Wes, yes, we kind of figured that your internet died on you. Sorry about that, mate. And of course, I expect a lot of internet to do things with these storms happening.
So actually, that's another thing to remember is that the points will be split. So if the race had to finish as those standings look right now, and Nismax finished second to Tux, he would still win the championship. Because he would get the 25 points for Tier 1 victory.
Oh.
Yes, correct.
Well, he's now coming up to the final corner.
Because just a reminder to everybody, this is like Tier 1 and Tier 2 combined in one race. But of course, they still get their respective points for their respective tiers.
So technically Nismax can win the championship from second, so long as he's got a Tier 2 driver in front of him.
Correct. Well spotted,
and that would
Mr.
be an
Fernandez.
interesting result. Does anybody know off the top of their head who won the inaugural Singapore Grand Prix?
Ooh, it's definitely not Lewis Hamilton.
It was actually a very famous race for all the wrong reasons. Fernando Alonso won that race for Renault.
I was just about to say, isn't that wasn't that the famous Renault thing with Piquet Jr. of course, and all these allegations that came out some later times?
That was the first edition of the Singapore Grand Prix, when Nelson Piquet crashed out, causing a safety car and allowing Alonso to pit at just the right time, which led to his victory. And then a year later, when Nelson Piquet's contract did not get renewed, he came out and
he spoke the beans.
Said that was Renault's top management's decision. They instructed him to crash.
And that, of course, is actually, that was the start of things as we know it today. Why we don't see Flavio Briatore anymore in F1.
Right, he actually got an F1 life ban.
No, Wes, man, you can still try to join. You can still race.
Flavio
Visual
Briatore,
default
he
setup.
got a ban for managing a team for
Wrong reasons.
life.
Oh.
And for F1, he basically wasn't allowed at the circuit for a period of time.
Correct.
Which has obviously changed now. He can go to the circuit, but he's not going to be taking any team manager positions anytime soon.
Doesn't matter Wes, whatever car you get, your points will still be allocated for you to your car, your team.
That's right. If you get into the wrong car, it will still be.
Doesn't matter. We will sort out the points table. So long as you just have a car to drive and get some points on the board. And by the looks of it, it's going to be a high fatality rate tonight. So keeping the car on track is going to be important. You can still pick up spots, especially with that rain coming.
Q1 with 7 minutes remaining, Six is still on provisional pole with a 136.8.
Oh, Mr. Cry for the link has made it, boys. Where's the link? Where's the link? He finally made it. And hello to and Gav is live. No, there's no qualifying unfortunately, but if you stay in the game by the time the race starts, you will still be in the actual race. You'll just start from the back, but you will still be able to race.
And you will have no setup. You'll be racing with a default setup.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but you can still pick up points if the other guy's going to go out, and I expect a lot of guys to go out tonight.
I think, like you say, starting from the back today is not the worst thing that could happen. It is Singapore. We've seen a lot of interesting stuff in Sector 1 on lap 1.
Correct.
And so there could be retirements. No, I mean the whole Sector 1. There could be retirements and obviously internet issues. I can tell you that I don't know about the rest of the country, but I know here in Johannesburg it's pouring.
It's pouring big time. So I would say just keep it on the track.
Up here.
Just keep it on the track, be patient, the points are going to come. Because a lot of guys already did, they didn't sound overconfident before the race. And of course, seeing that there's rain predicted for the race, that's definitely going to make things tough.
Virus looks like he's on his fast lap now.
As it is, it's still ticks and mismakes.
I think rain in Singapore is probably one of the worst places it can happen.
Correct.
So obviously it's a night race. As I was speaking to one of the drivers earlier, DW, we're talking about a wet Singapore, and I commented on the reflection of the lights on the tar. It's it can be quite difficult when you're trying to, when the track's reflecting in your face and you're trying to see the apex.
Gav, it's raining in East London, it's raining in Joburg, it's going to be rain in this race as well, so it's just rain tonight. So just sit back, have your Heineken or whatever, if you've got something stronger for a change, man up and just drink and enjoy the race.
So I'd enjoy the race. I think Gavin's going to be sitting on the edge of his seat and he's going to be watching that Ferrari very closely. So I think from your side, Johan, I think you need to give that Ferrari a little bit of footage tonight.
Just to make Gavin stress a bit more. No, just to make him panic. To make him stress more, I'm not going to focus on the Ferrari tonight.
Well, at this stage in Q1, it doesn't really look that promising for Wazzy. And the session
RZTV led for session. No!
Obviously now one of our commentators has left the commentary box. Hopefully he'll be back with us soon. I think what you've also got to remember here, from Q1 the top 15 drivers will go through.
Correct.
So all you need to do is put a decent-ish lap time in, and there's no real reason to push beyond that.
I don't think we saw the best of his guys yet, because obviously the 136, 137 is enough. I mean, why would you want to risk your car at this stage?
No, no, definitely, 100%. I mean, that's a 136.8. Nismak's got a 137.4. It's quite a substantial gap. It's about 7/10. But Nismax really doesn't need to go any faster.
Correct.
He will be in Q2.
You just want to make sure you get it to the next, because ultimately he wants to go to the last Q qualifying session and then go for that, you know, fastest possible time. For now, just to get a decent time and go through.
Welcome back, RZDV 2000, to the commentary box. Don't know how long he's going to be with us this time, but I'm not going to make too many jokes because my internet's also on its last legs today.
As I'm saying, with the weather and stuff, storms happening in and about, the storms are not helping. So I'm expecting a lot of...
No changes in the order. I think everybody... Nismak's just retiring from the session, so he's obviously happy with that time. And like you say, no need to push, no need to risk the car. You're clearly going through to Q2. The last thing you need to do is lose a wheel and miss out on the rest of qualifying.
I can
Sorry Gavin, he's not. I don't see sandbagging there, don't lie. Gavin claiming that Nismax is sandbagging, he must get a 5 grid place penalty.
Well, I think Nismax is sandbagging. I think he's got the pace. Is he 7/10 of a second off pole? I don't think so.
He usually shows all his pace during Q3.
Correct.
When even when he doesn't win the race, if he's up there in the top 5, he's still close.
Nasty lagging there on Springbok Gamer side. Yes, Wes, just wait a little bit. You're just going to have to be patient through the qualifying sessions. But while you joined, you will definitely start the race.
But just make sure to stay in the lobby.
Yes.
So if you leave the lobby between qualifying ending and the race starting, you will not be able to join.
So just make sure you stay put in the lobby.
You'll have to join us in the commentary box, and we're running out of chairs.
I can confirm if Thomas and Neno goes faster than the lap that Staffy did, then Staffy's going to be out.
No, Staffy's out. He did hit a wall. He retired, so he's definitely out. Because if you look at it, he did a faster lap in S1, but S1 is above him. He definitely, and Staffy also said he made contact with a pit wall.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a thunderstorm in Jones. Wow, that was a big one.
Yeah, so
Wazzy has not retired from the session. He's gone third. I didn't actually notice that, but Wazzy's got a 137.8, and I think he's holding back. There's only one car in the 136s, and I think there's a lot more cars with that potential. I saw 137s in practice earlier.
It just makes sense holding back a bit now, because why risk the car?
You just need to do enough to get to Q2.
Oh, I see a Merc, and then I was put it into a wall.
Do we have any clearer information on the weather concerning the rain? Is it in the beginning? Is it at the end? Is it the whole thing? If you're able to tell us in the comment section, that would be great.
Okay, with Heno and Staffy in the wall, so that's pretty much the 2 drivers eliminated. So pretty much the rest of the guys will go through then.
It looks like Thomas might also be eliminated because he does have a lap, but he's still below Staffy, and he's still...
No, but if you retire completely, you're out. And Staffy and Heno put it in walls, so they retired because of damage.
So
I believe if you don't set a lap time, even if there's 11 drivers and you don't set a lap time, you won't go to Q2. If you just sit in the pits for the whole session, you won't go through.
Yeah, Staff confirmed he did crash. So Staff and Heno crash, so they definitely out. So at least 15 cars.
So they will be out, and
correct.
The way I understand it is Thomas just had to complete a lap time and he will go through.
Correct, Wes. I actually I agree with you there. I also won't push too hard because of the rain. Just play it safe.
Let's have a look at the fastest lap, and this one actually caught me. This one almost went off balance when I saw this. I wasn't expecting this, but
hey, hallo Yvette. Baie welkom. Nice om jou weer te sien. Woehoe. Mrs. Bota herself, welcome. And with that, Yvette actually said rain from the start for about 45 minutes.
Guys, we just joined.
Here's a challenging question to both of you. Does anyone know, you don't need to know the lap time obviously or the year, but does anyone know the holder of the fastest lap in Singapore? And I don't think you're going to get it right.
The fastest lap in Singapore.
Just the driver. Just the driver's name.
No, hang on. It's not going to be, it's definitely not Lewis Hamilton because that's too obvious.
I'll tell you this much. It's not one of the top 3 teams.
Correct,
or a driver you would consider in one of those top 3 teams. Fastest lap ever around Singapore was set by a Haas Ferrari, Kevin Magnussen.
I was just about to say it must be one of the smaller teams really, because this is one of those mediocre tracks where actually it seems that the smaller guys actually goes faster, the smaller teams, but of course the consistency is still with the stronger teams, which is why the stronger teams dominate.
It's one of the tracks on the F1 calendar that accentuates and brings out the potential of the chassis. Whereas tracks like Monza are all about the power. Certain tracks you can get amazing performance out of a car because it's just built really well.
That's
it, Yvette. That's it.
Sam.
You guys out on outlaps already, so guys getting out there really quickly. But 7 drivers out on track. That's what I count. I'll just see a few more leaving the pits now.
I see.
One.
I see Yvette. She actually gave Gavin, Gavbeek gave him a firm warning. She said she's keeping a close eye on him. She's watching him. No more bribes for the takeout.
You never know when it comes to Gav. I mean, there could have been under the table dealings that didn't go through the social group. Some direct messages, some transfers being done via EFT. Who knows?
You never know that Gavbeek. I mean, come on, he's from Ghana after all.
And remember, this is F1. This is a circuit. You start where you finished. So it's not about just running away for Nismax. If you can't catch him, he's still in danger because you can just wait for him.
Well, guys, I can confirm there's only 14 drivers and not 15, so that means Thomas is also out.
A wet piece of rolled up newspaper, Steffi.
No lap times just yet. Still got a blank data screen in front of me.
Yeah, most of the guys are still just on outlaps.
It'll be interesting to see now, what do the guys do with the tires? Obviously, if it rains in the beginning of the race, then you can do whatever you want now. You can go for the faster tire. If the race is going to start dry, then obviously tire choice is critical in Q2. So just keep an eye on who's doing what lap times on what tire.
This is interesting. White Racer and Cowboy
no, on the Farki, staff on the Farki.
This is quite a mixture of tires out there now. That's 3 guys out on the softs. It's 6 guys out on the ultras, and a lot of the guys out on the. Sorry, that's the hyper. There's 4s on hypers. This is so confusing. I actually can't wait for F1 2019 when, regardless of the racetrack you're at, you're going to have 3 compounds called soft, medium, and hard. No hyper softs, no super softs, no ultra softs, and whatever else comes after that.
And we all know why when it's really hyper soft.
I wasn't going to say it, but obviously the 18-year-old in the room couldn't help himself.
So Rob, just for you, you're still the younger one here, sorry to pick on you, just to enlighten you as well, what hypersoft really means. Hypersoft is really, you will ask for all the guys, they can relate to that. Hyper soft is when you really can't get it up anymore. It stays soft. That's hyper soft.
Hyper soft is when medication stops working.
Exactly, nothing else. It stays soft.
Now you just make it sound like it's something that is being used for washing clothes. Stay soft.
Well, at a certain age, it actually stays like that. So yeah, that can also go.
I'm pretty sure that would happen if you drank Stay Soft. I think that could definitely it could
Steph.
it could mess up a few things. 138.4 by Springbok Gamer.
Not a
Currently the fastest.
No, it's actually a decent benchmark.
Oh,
That
There we
is
go,
obviously
there
done
goes
on the
Mismax.
Hypersoft.
There goes Dismax now
with
with
the
a 136.
136.9. He dips into the 136s for the first time.
If a race is going to start wet, why bother going for a harder compound at this stage?
And why for the hardest?
Do you know that? Is that confirmation?
That
is it starting in the race?
That's actually some of the comments I received in that the race is going to start wet.
Well then, in my opinion, it's completely pointless to be using a harder compound of tyre. You're just gonna... Maybe... no. I was gonna say, maybe you want to use up that tyre, but no, you give back your qualifying tyres.
Guys, just on that earlier comment, of course, Staffy came back, he said, yeah, in the old days it's called floppy. I see Yvette responded just now. She said, thank goodness the stiffy came after the floppy. The term stiffy was only used in SA. Overseas, that still the disc was also known as a floppy. That stiff disc. There we go. Thanks, Staffy.
You see, like obviously the TnB Racing League, this is what sets us apart from the rest. It's not only the 100% distance, it's the utter rubbish that is spoken in the commentary box. But it makes I think it makes it so much more
Mr. Pig, don't
enjoyable.
pretend you're so Mr. High and Mighty. Are you a sis for yourself, man?
It's a flag in sector 1, but I can't figure out where that is.
Well, if I see yellow flags, the first thing I do is I check if Waz is out on track, because he always slow down for people to come past so he can build a gap.
Waz on a fast lap. Waz is on
yeah,
a fast lap
because, but that's what I'm saying. Normally when he's on the out lap, he let people come past him, and that's when you normally get the yellow flags. But being on the out lap, definitely not Wazi this time. Sorry, on fast lap.
It was for Blacksonby retired, but I'm not sure if he crashed or... but I think the softs
it's a bit difficult to say. It's difficult to say if he crashed because times there's not giving it away.
Yeah.
Please describe the scenery more.
Please describe the scenery more. The race is boring. Hey.
What the
I actually think we should. I think we should actually invite Steph to the commentary box one day.
Why must we check Cam on the yellow?
Maybe the yellows will Cam.
Nee, but Yvette, don't mind the piglet. He thinks he's a priest, but meantime he's the devil's son himself.
Was he coming around the final corner?
Gaff Pig actually make the devil blush.
Well, guys, I think the drivers on the soft is gonna have to go out on a set of hypers or ultras to really.
Okay, true that, Wes. We'll keep an eye on that.
Because at this stage, Wazzy is about 4 seconds slower than 3 seconds slower than Nesmax on a set of softs.
And everybody, here we go. Some of the guys at least still out there, because a lot of guys sitting in the pits now.
I think basically, obviously, the top 10 will go through to Q3. So if you feel you're safely in top 10, no real reason to go out again. But
Jonathan.
was he still got that 140.8? He might wanna.
Was he has got the 140.0 in 9.
Oh boy, round 2 just started here. Round 2 of a storm.
Why race out on the softs again?
Not quite sure what the dealing is here, but Gavin is now asking Staffy for help. Dirk is running away with it. Staffy help. So if we do see a Nismac Staffy collision,
no. The only the only guy
some
Staffy
very
was
bad
ever to
evidence
take
here.
out. Staffy was only ever to take out Gav Peak, that's all. And there's no Gav Peak. So there's no taking out for Staffy tonight. He's eating at home.
And he does 138 on a set of softs and he decides to retire.
Obviously confident with that.
The interesting thing is going to be why race also on a set of softs.
Hey, Gavin makes me think of a Beatles song. Help!
now he's just getting desperate. Anyone help? I know you earn in dollars. Put up a proper offer. I might just jump in the Ferrari. Still technically my car.
Go take your teammate out. Anything for real money.
For dollars, let's do this.
And why race he flips his wings, so
This Max will be mad for a while, but you can mute WhatsApp.
Oh, name your prize.
I don't think I'll be jumping into my Ferrari today because taking someone out requires taking someone out requires you to be able to get around a lap. And my practice session earlier on was not extremely promising.
What the hell is happening there with Vino? Losing the car very badly. So that's Vino also
retirement from the session.
Yeah, what's interesting is if it stays like this, we're only gonna have 9 drivers.
Sure.
We'll just have we'll have a 9-driver shootout.
Because Vino didn't go to the bottom after that crash.
Ag jy weet, ek kan maar sy dollars uithaal. Sommige van ons kan nie gebruik word nie. Some of us still have honor, unlike the peak.
Name your price.
Gavin, dit gaan nie werk nie.
If this was any other league besides TnB,
and the judge.
The judge also overshooting your. I see Gavin is begging Yvette to gooi leg way for Nismax. What he doesn't realize, they're married, and everybody knows married means that's not going to work. If it was single, he was hot in love, what, you know, that type of thing will work. But not with married life, sorry. Of course, Yvette's got other tricks up her sleeve, but why would she do that?
DW coming out of the pits now on a set of, I believe those are hypers.
Yep.
Yvette, hou jou bag of magic tricks vir later. Cheer hy Nismax hierso. Vergeet van die varkie.
Another question is, if you set your fastest lap on Hypersoft and the race does indeed start dry, how long into the race do you think you can go on a set of Hypers?
And I mean, this track is already tough on time management. I would say if you, obviously, let's say now this is, you start on this tire, of course, as you normally do. I would predict, look, it's short laps, but I would predict about 8-9 laps. Because when your tire is really going to go.
So that's really the thing, is like you can use it to get the ultimate lap, but I don't think it's going to take you very far into the race. think here in Q2 you don't need to run it if you've gone quick on a slower tire. Just leave it at that. I just don't think those hypers are going to go very far into the race.
No, I think that's why most of the guys came out on those harder tires that we saw earlier.
Maybe DW knows something that we don't. Maybe the rain is coming soon in the race, not in the beginning of the race.
We'll have to wait and see.
We'll only know obviously when we get to the start line. We've had many weather reports incorrect in the past. So only when we see it on our screens will we confirm a wet race. Obviously it's a night race, so we can't watch the clouds.
The only two cars on track is the two Williams drivers, and Brook comes into the pit.
Well, the session is all over. If we can just, it's only really DW.
DW, he did cross that line before the checkered flag.
Correct,
so
he's still on the fast lap.
Currently in 4th place. I see now that DW did set his best lap on a set of hypers, so he's just trying to improve it on a set of hypers.
Maybe Vino, tonight will be a good time for you to start.
I think he might be looking at fitted.
Six in second place is actually showing a lot of speed, because if you have a look at that, he's a tenth of the second behind Nizmax, and he did that on a set of ultras.
And by the way, I think I won't be wrong if I say that the guys that really dead sober tonight, they really the odd ones out, because there's a lot of guys driving tonight that's a bit under the influence. And DW also decides to come in the pit. He's not going to finish his lap.
He's going to start on the ultra softs. Maybe just getting his eye in for Q3.
Maybe just
Seems
to
like
feel,
that's the end of the session.
Just see where those grip places are. Get the confidence on where to push, etc. These guys, we now
the drivers actually in the lobby.
Q3. We're about to start Q3, and we're already at like 56 comments. Wow.
So that's your results for Q2. Obviously, Nizmax taking provisional pole for the time being. Tips in second. Did qualify on the slower tyre, so it'll be interesting to watch his lap times. Springbok came in 3rd. DW 4th. Wolf in 5th. Cameron 6th. Wazzy 7th. Ronald 8th. Luxon P 9th. And then Vino Real making up the top 10, and that will be your top 10 for Q3.
No, Vino, don't sell yourself so short, yeah, because Vino is also out. Don't sell yourself short, Vino. Don't just give up yet. So
We
just
said
to
it
go
earlier
back
on in the qualifying session that starting from the back is not necessarily a bad thing in this race. I do foresee internet problems for a couple of the guys, maybe even myself, and it's a track you can easily make mistakes at. So I think if you keep the car on circuit, don't break your wing, you could land up in a healthy points paying position. A few drivers already emerging from the pits.
Here we go, and Dux is going out.
It's just a 12-minute session.
Whoa, guys,
so need to make the most of it.
My eyes deceiving me, but there is no Y race in Q3.
Yeah, he went out in Q2 because he...
Y Racer qualified in 11th, and Vino Real obviously crashed out at the end, but he did set a lap time before he crashed out, and that lap time was good enough for 9th.
Yes.
So took the top 10 through with the 1 retirement. We just have the 9 starters in Q3.
And I see Nizmax is out early, which is unusual.
Maybe trying to get 2 runs in.
I'm out there as you possibly can.
Correct.
Not sure if I think it was this track. while back I had a race here where in the qualifying session I noticed that on the one compound of tyre I could go much faster on the second fastest lap than on the first. So I wonder if you'll have two runs here, one of them with a second fastest lap. It is something worth trying. Second lap your tyre temperature could be much better. No lap times just yet.
John,
But very interested to see what...
lighting is not getting better. Ooh. I feel for some guys on the internet tonight.
I'm very interested to see what Tux can do on that pink tyre. He's just having a bit of lag as I say that. He's going to go over the line. Start his fast lap. Just having a bit of lag issues there. You might want to keep your eyes on that McLaren.
And both milkshake cars are still there.
That McLaren could be a little bit difficult to get past in the race if that carries on. Still waiting for the first lap times. Nothing just yet. Interesting that Blixenp is setting, well, he's sitting on ultra soft. I don't know why you would want to use the slower compound in Q3.
Maybe only has one set of hypers left. Oh! And
obviously the tyre selection at the beginning of the weekend could come into play. Could be costing him.
Yeah.
That's going fastest. 134.
Clearly that was lag on my screen.
That's a 134.4.
Correct.
That is an extremely impressive lap time.
And look at that, 3 seconds slower again.
And Nesmax now coming around for final corners.
135.
Wow.
135.6, that is a big gap. That's 1.2 seconds.
Looks like Tux and
Both on
Nesmax
the
can have a
ultra
go
softs.
at it tonight. But of course, if Nesmax finish behind Tux, of course, it's still technically a win.
Let's just remind Gavin of that. If Tux does win this race and Nismax finishes second, Nismax will be champion.
Sorry, Gav,
Tux is
Nesmax will still beat you.
Tux is a tier 2 driver, so his points will go to tier 2. And Nismax will collect the full 25 points for tier 1.
And at this stage, the only guy that can stop Nesmax is in 9th, and on his fast lap was he. He W'd the 138.3 on his first lap.
Don't forget, all these guys will have second runs. Have another go at it.
Oh, and there's a Force India in the wall, Ronald.
That's Ronald. He's obviously missed his braking point. Found himself in the wall. So no visible damage that I can see. So some good damage control there by him.
We'll see now, maybe, if he comes into the pits.
Just follow Wazzy for the time being. No lap time from him as of yet. One of the faster drivers on the grid. See what he can do. Bright red helmet. Can be a difficult circuit. I'm not sure if that was lag or if he just clipped the wall a little bit, but that may have cost him a bit of time. Going now around the final bend onto the pit straight.
136.
That's right, he does a 136.4. So some really big gaps there in the top three actually. 134.4, 135.8 and a 136.4. Not exactly close at the top. But obviously, I did see that little bump there for Wazzy against the wall. It would definitely cost him.
Oh, looks like Blackson now experiences internet issues.
Currently, Wazzy 2 seconds off the pace.
Can he reclaim
Don't say
his
that
car?
every
They
day.
set the time.
That's something you don't see very often. Was being 2 seconds off the pace.
Current pole time of 1:34.4. Wazzy has a 1:36.4.
I don't know if you remember when we were talking with how in the practice session some of us thought the fastest lap would be a high 1:35.
Well, here we go, 134. Wow.
They've
Massive.
dipped into the 134s, and it's a 1:34.4. So it's technically it's a low 1:34.
Low 134. And a
I
wow's
don't
overlap.
expect that. Nobody else has been in the 1:34s yet. Took's the only man to dip into the 1:34s. Wazzy now comes into the pits.
Of course,
He's obviously going to put on a fresh
course,
set of rubber and have a second go at it.
Nesmax just need to stay clear as well. Nesmax just need to know he don't need to chase Tux. If he finish second, it's still a win technically.
And absolutely, he just needs to. He can really let Tux run away into the distance, and he just needs to worry about his own race and keeping it clean.
Correct.
And
Just keep him
Wazzy
second
behind
position.
him.
Correct. He's fine with second position if it's as long as it's Tux in front of him.
Obviously, you guys are familiar with Alain Prost, and Alain Prost, when he drove in Formula One, he had a nickname, and his nickname was the
Yuri.
Professor.
Nice of you to join us.
And Alain Prost's nickname was the Professor, and the reason why it was called the Professor, Alain Prost only did what he needed to do. If he needed to finish in 6th to win a world championship, he would stay in 6th. He wouldn't push for that 5th because he didn't need it. And that's how he won 4 world championships.
Yep. Sensible driving. Why put the
risk
for car? Why push?
And a lot of those championships he won against Ayrton Senna.
Yep. Now we saw some good battles in the past.
And then Alain Prost, after retiring, obviously went on to buy the Ligier team, which became the Prost F1 team.
Correct.
And that was actually a fantastic team. For a private team, it really pushed some amazing performances. And if I'm not mistaken, it even had a pole at one stage.
I actually enjoyed the color scheme, and of course Lacey also drove for them at one stage.
If I'm not mistaken, Zonta, I think it was Zonta, took pole position in a Prost.
But of course, Lacey driving for them, that makes sense. The Frenchman driving for the French-owned team.
And obviously the Prost had Peugeot engines, which is also a French manufacturer.
That was full out French.
That was a different time to think there were 2 French manufacturers in F1.
Yes.
Now there's only 4 manufacturers altogether, and one doesn't have a manufacturer team. It's just an engine supplier. Let's just have a bit of a look at the times now in Q3. Nothing's really changed there.
Of course,
the top, still that 1:34.4.
The one you're talking about now, which is just the engine supplier, of course, is Honda.
That's correct. Honda do not have a manufacturer team. Last time they had a manufacturer team was in 2008. And then when they built their stellar championship winning car, they decided to sell just before the season started. And that's why Braun were champions.
Correct. They took that team over at just the right time.
And really there was no real development within the team. That's why it got sold at the end of that year.
And that's also
Braun is
maybe
the only-
that's also what helped
Braun-
Jenson Button, because Jenson Button was part of that BAR Honda team, and of course the year that Braun had it, he was world champion.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's the only team that has won the drivers' world title and the constructors' world title in its debut season.
Savakaki, Steffi,
So
Savakaki.
That's a record I don't expect to be broken.
Dati probably in a wall.
And I think he realized, he said that's enough is enough.
See, time has run out.
Yes.
We're just waiting for the rest of the guys that are on laps, and for the rest of them to retire. See, and then we're going to go straight into the 100% Singapore Grand Prix. Round 10. The season has really flown.
Ons weet hy kan nie, Stef, moenie worry nie.
What is Wazzy gonna do? Wazzy doesn't improve. What about Mismax?
I'm sure Gavin's sitting on the edge of his seat watching this lap. Can Nismax improve? Currently a 135.8.
The only other driver that can beat Mismax is DW. And DW does 137 and not quite enough.
So if things stay as is, Nismax will definitely stay second.
And if it stays like this in the race, he's champion.
Yep.
Gavin buckled under the pressure. He did not want to race in Singapore. He even left the country. It's
yeah, Nismax
abandons the lap.
He's abandoned the lap. I think he's happy with second place.
I think he has some inside news there from a special someone.
Just 57 seconds remaining there on the time. Some of the guys yet to retire.
And I think that's just Nismax. Oh, was he?
And that's a Merc missing a wheel.
But I think he will should.
This is the AI.
I think he should be safe. Still get that third position.
He did get third before he retired. So
correct.
There we go. There's your top 9 going into the race. Obviously, Tux with an amazing lap, a 134.4. Don't know where that came from. Nismax in second. Wazzy third. Got the Wolf in fourth. DW fifth. Cameron in sixth. Ronald seventh. Stringbok came at eighth. And then Blixen P rounding up the top 9. He did not set a lap time though. And everybody who set a lap time did so on hypers. Wait in anticipation to see what the next screen is going to look like. Are we going to see rain?
Here we go. Go.
And
yep,
yes,
it's raining.
That's definitely rain. And,
Yvette called it right. Yvette said it's going to start wet.
What?
That is definitely rain you see on your screens.
Yvette, you can be my race engineer. Screw Jeff.
Like
you will be a much better Jeff.
Guys, I'm in a car and I can tell you how is it so.
Oh, Rob, your internet is going. You're breaking up badly.
Yeah, I'm every time now because I'm grid.
Oh, Rob, I hear like every second word.
Really battling there to hear RZDV just having
here we go.
bit of
Formation
connection issue.
Now I think Yvette will be the perfect race engineer. Whoever wants a race engineer, please, Yvette, go consult Yvette. Yeah, there we go, Rob. Network is not of the best thanks to the weather.
Now this is just the formation lap. Don't know how much heat you can get into your tires on a wet track.
I'm gonna, by the way, if I go career mode and stuff, I'm gonna fire Jeff, I'm gonna hire Yvette. Because she's called that right, she said it's gonna start with rain.
Well, she got that right. It's gonna be interesting.
Jeff couldn't even get this right.
Yeah, you. It'll be interesting to see this rain down into turn 1.
Guys, I'm on track.
I know that. And I can tell you one thing. It's going to be a bit of a problem. Somebody did that in a previous race, and basically what happens is the car stays on. It was actually savvy. You join the race and then you leave, and the car stays on circuit.
Yes.
But it does not ghost. It goes slowly like AI, but it does not ghost. That specific car. Everyone else will ghost, but not that car.
I have an idea. I'm gonna put it into a wall.
You could do that. Just don't do it on the formation lap.
Obviously. I just had to join first.
How did you not get onto track? Some sort of glitch?
When I disconnected.
Oh,
but I can tell you guys how the weather's gonna play out.
Tell us.
Okay, just hold. It's rain until there's one block that's no rain.
Oh,
the whole race is gonna be rain.
Ooh, not nice.
Only right at the end it's gonna dry up.
Let's hier, jy weet. Maar Jeff kan regtig by jou kom leer. Right, just got a couple of corners left.
Gotta wait for everybody to line up. Obviously that top 2 feels like forever when they're waiting on the grid.
And now I can't take over my car.
I thought that would happen.
Just so I can go put it into a wall, but see just after the formation lap.
Okay, just waiting for everybody to line up, last few drivers coming around.
Guys, we'll just have to be careful with that Alpha, I believe it is. That car's not going to be ghosting and it's going to be driving awfully slowly.
Here we go, okay. Right, watch for the lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Lights.
Go!
There we go. Here we go.
Oh.
Let's watch this Ferrari now down into turn 1.
Got an awesome start. And why is there Nesmax battling? Nesmax just keeping his line, sitting was a little bit wide, just telling him not this time, I'm keeping this door shut.
Now Nesmax gets good drive out of the corner.
Nice drive now, Nesmax much better traction. And Wazzy now is fancying that McLaren. But no, this is some sort of lag. All of a sudden Texas in front again. And here Nesmax is miles ahead of everyone else. Lag is coming and Nesmax again overtaking. This
the
time
last thing we want to see now is the championship decided by lag.
Ooh, and now Wazzy right on the back of that McLaren again. Oh, it's going on the outside. Bit of contact. Oh, and you see, he took spun. There was definitely contact between him. Oh, and the ice cream cars drive straight into Tux. Didn't even look like he tried to avoid him.
So Tux has gone from starting in pole and leading the first couple of corners to sitting in 17th, I believe it is.
Yeah. Yeah, but now all of a sudden, oh guys, internet is really messing around again now. Now Tux, whoa!
Look at the Ferrari driving under Nismax.
Now
he overtook Nismax by driving under the car.
Whoa, guys, there's some serious stuff happening.
I can tell you from experience, I've had this before. I had it in my first commentary stint in Tier 2, and it was with Ronald. And it's going to carry on throughout the race. And pretty much every time he goes over the start-finish line, he's going to jump in the timing screen.
So guys, whatever you see, if we comment wrong, please forgive us. We're just going to comment on what we see, but we know this is probably not right.
No, just gonna try and comment on what we see, and we're gonna try and keep as accurate as possible. But unfortunately, mistakes will be made. Just can't really read a timing screen like that.
Can I confirm? Tux is in first.
Supposedly.
Tux is in first on
he was
my
just
screen.
About to go. He was just about to go last.
He was 17th. On his way down to 17th, he made contact with various cars from what I could see on screen. And whether that was lag or not, I don't know.
Never mind free. 10 seconds for exceeding track limits. The judge.
Going on to full wets, am I seeing right?
One of those circuits that can be very difficult on the corner cutting. And obviously in the rain, it's not that difficult to corner cut around here.
Yeah, it looks like Y Racer and the judge on full wedge.
We'll have to watch their lap times and see if their lap times are coming down, then clearly those wets are working.
But the track doesn't seem that wet.
We'll see a whole flurry of drivers dive into the pits.
How cool would this be? Full wet on the front and intermediate on the back.
Imagine you could do that, hey?
Unfortunately, the FIA does not allow more than one compound.
I want to say correct.
Just ask Valtteri Bottas. Williams' team once released him with different compounds on each side of the car.
Remember a couple of years ago?
Citronic now leaving the session.
A couple of years ago, we had refueling, but tires were not changed. You had to finish a race with the same set of tires. And actually, at that stage, damaging a tires was disastrous. I remember, I think it was still Schumacher who came into the pit, damaged a tire, and only one tire was replaced. Imagine how uneven, how difficult that car must feel.
Schumacher once won a Monaco Grand Prix with missing 2 gears from lap 3 onwards.
Now look, there's a couple of guys like the Schumacher, but serious skill. Either you have it or you don't.
Schumacher won the Monaco Grand Prix missing 2 gears. He lost those 2 gears on lap 3 of the Monaco Grand Prix. After the race, when he was asked, how did you win the Grand Prix missing 2 gears? He says, you have to learn how to drive around the problems.
And true that.
So how he made that work, I'll never know. But what a driver.
Interesting news, guys. Y Racer is was back in the pits to replace the full wets with a set of winters.
Sure,
the timing screen for the time being has stabilized from what I can see. And if this is correct, Tux leads the race by 2 seconds.
No, it just now looked like Nismax were going to go for him. And actually Nismax is a faster of the two at the moment. And yet
so
every time when that thing refresh or whatever, it's like just there's some distance. No, there's definitely a lag involved here. No 3-second time penalty.
But this is all Nismax has to do, just keep the gap to Wazzy and DW and you can win the championship. There you go, Wazzy gets 3 seconds and Wazzy runs wide, opening it up for Wolf, but Wazzy gets better traction.
I wouldn't be surprised if Nismax could see this lag in front of him and just settling for second at the moment. Maybe try to come out ahead of him in the pits, but if the car is jumping in front of you and the championship's on the line, I don't really think you want to take that car on. And as I say that, I'm watching Nismax and Tux I literally just saw Tux disappear off screen and appear up the road. About half a second up the road.
And he lost 2 positions. He missed the braking point and he's missing an end plate on the left. Oh,
So
and
was he?
Oh,
Was he as not?
oh.
Was he DNF and Gavin's championship is...
I was just about to say, sorry,
Gavin's
Gavin.
championship just got a whole lot more difficult now. Was a main contender for this race. He no longer is. So who could take Nizmax on potentially? And judging from the pace at the moment, I don't know. DW almost 8 seconds back on lap 4. And then down to the further 9 seconds. Bit of a battle between the Force Indias, it seems. Just under a second.
Cameron had, I think, just lit something in his pants when Wazzy crossed in front of him. If Wazzy's car didn't go, that would have been came out as well.
Now we have the Force Indias running line astern in 5th and 6th. Just 1.5 seconds now the gap. Cameron is getting away a little bit.
And the
gap at the front, 8/10 of a second. 8/10 of a second. We'll keep our eyes on this. 5-second stop go penalty for speeding in the pit lane for Heno. A lot of penalties being dished out and it's only lap 5. Nizmax now getting pretty close to that McLaren in front of him. The only unfortunate thing is I can't tell you if what you see on your screen is actually happening. Don't know if this gap of 7/10 of a second is correct.
And I just had the most useless camera of all time. Watching the rear of Nizmax's car.
Actually just outside of the points in 11th place. Not really good for his championship ambitions. He's fighting with Springbok Gamer for 2nd place, I believe, in Tier 2. Springbok Gamer currently in 7th.
Hello, gentlemen.
And we've got a new voice in the commentary box.
What happened, mate?
No.
At the end of the day, just be honest. You got tired.
No, you know what, Jonathan? I will be 100% honest.
Yeah.
Castle.
Yeah, I'm a little bit intoxicated, just a tiny bit. But that wasn't a problem. The pace for 3rd was still strong, not strong enough, but with the rain I felt confident. Tux in front lagged because I passed him, and the vet passed him actually in Porichet as well, and Yuri.
Yes.
And he spawned in front, and he came in front of me and he took my wing, and yeah, from there you won't be able to challenge. I considered coming into the pits, and I thought in the rain, coming from the back with the other guys, the risk of losing your wing again. No, so I was pushing, and I pushed too hard and I binned it. But anyway, that's me done for season 4 of TnB.
Season 5.
5, sorry. Ek hou gewoonlik op by nummer 5, dan stop ek om te tel. But anyway, find me well challenging for the championship next season. And hopefully it won't be in a Merc. Because, god damn.
Oh, this wave is non-stop.
Is it daar by jou, Johan?
Yep.
No, I also had a thunderstorm here, but it's seems to be over. It's gone west.
Mine looked like it's gone, and when he came back, and when he disappeared in the outs, back again.
Yeah, mine also started and it went hard and then it let up, but it's still raining. But it's no thunderstorms, but oh god, as I say that, dog come
That,
freaking
as you
thunderbolt.
said that, I saw lightning. A
Exactly,
lot of
that's
lightning. A
probably
lot.
the same dog.
That was bright.
Yeah.
That's insane if you can see the same thing from Benoni. Suppose it's not that far. Six still leads the race. Don't know,
By a hat with lag.
don't really know what's going on there. I'd love to be able just to speak to Nizmax for a couple of seconds and just ask him, do you see that McLaren in front of you? Or is it a clear track?
Yeah, I think he sees him. I think he's genuinely in front. But what I'm thinking, Nizmax is thinking, Six is a tier 2 driver, so even if he wins, it doesn't matter. Dirk still takes enough points to win the whole shebang, so...
Exactly, and third place is almost 10 seconds down, so
And
he just
also
needs
a
to
tier
stay
2
where he
driver.
is. Just needs to stay where he is, keep it clean, and maybe even jump him in the pit stops. But
Another
you don't
thing
want
that
to take on a laggy car.
as I saw in on the grid there, yeah, it's bound to dry up, but
Yeah,
right
at the
towards
end.
the end, right at the end.
At the end, yeah, I was actually on track, was he?
So yeah, I heard some people mentioning, "Oh my God, that's Rob!" Oh, I was like, "Rob is here."
No, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh dear. I see I've had some fellow DNFers. And poor lads. But hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at DW. I think he's taking very conservative, and as the race goes on, he's gonna get quicker. I think.
Look at those on that train.
Anyway, I'm gonna join your gents in a second.
Now you're
I'm
disappearing
gonna
again.
pop out of the commentary box just to go get my cigarettes in the car, and it's raining.
Oh,
Hallelujah.
you got the rain now.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
This is actually, if they're actually going to a battle that's in Nesmax, it might get interesting, but Nesmax is just staying behind.
Well, if I found myself in this Max's position at the moment, where tier 2 driver is the only driver in front of him and he's going to win this and he's going to take the championship, I wouldn't really try and pass that car on the track. If you get your strategy right, you can probably pass him in the pits if you're quicker. And just, I don't think you should antagonize the laggy car.
And Thomas, Mr. Break.
Like they usually say, Mr. Fernandez. F1 races, crazy things happen, and it usually does.
That's correct.
So, we lap 9 out of 61. This race is still far from being decided.
in the famous yet incorrect words of Murray Walker, Murray Walker once said, Formula One is if backwards, because anything can happen. But clearly it's not, because a 1 and an I are two very different things. It doesn't spell F, it just says 1F, which means nothing.
Yeah. 1F sounds...
1F
Well,
sounds like a... 1F sounds like a low energy F word. It's like, it was, oh, I swore at him, I said the F word. It's like, how bad was it? No, it was just a level 1.
Me being blessed or being born in Benoni, if you say 1F with exaggeration in your voice, it will sound like a very fine lady just embracing herself for you to 1F.
Was
Ja, protaf, sorry boy. It looks like Nismax is having a look, yeah?
might actually go.
It's got a better exit. Getting in the
But he's
slipstream.
pulling away.
Let's see.
Yeah, but I think Tex might be running a higher, yeah, Tex is running high ERS on the stretch. Dirk is only running ERS 2. Tex is running ERS 3.
You can run high comfortably and make it last for 10 laps easy. Maybe Dirk is just saving up because he's in the slipstream, so what needs to happen is DW, let's go down to him and have a look. He needs to get past the wolf.
Guys, Cameron might get his first podium.
He's got a quiet range, but he's keeping it solid.
Now I was in the body, he legitimately passed me also. Like I didn't have a win,
came in a wall and that his end plate gone.
Oh dear.
We spoke too soon. Commentator's curse.
Well, I think that's more my fault, was it, than yours. Because I just went on board with him and then he went into the wall.
Oh, the ex-McLaren commentary curse going on there. Oh, I can feel it. Let's go a little bit further down the field and see who's cracking what.
I'm just going to leave you guys a little bit. I just got a few whoever. Just give me a second. I'll speak to you just now again.
No problem.
Thank you.
Ati in his favourite weather conditions, not doing badly. Going strong in 7th. Chasing down Ronald. TnB West. In 8th. In the Ferrari. Cowboy.
Just talking about Ati there in 7th place. That's a good result for him.
It is.
In this race, he only really needed to worry about staffing for the championship in Tier 2. Yeah. So if things finish this way, he will finish 2nd in the Tier 2 championship.
Oh, knowing Ati, he would love to prove a point and get past those 2 Force Indias. Especially Ronald, being the champion of Tier 2. He wants to prove a point and just put one on him. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I would love that. Good to see Ronald's internet looking a little bit better.
He did. I believe he had quite the upgrade. Don't see any issues on our side. The only issues we've really seen is with the man in first, if he is in first.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Seen it with my own eyes. A little bit of a desync. If I say desync, I put a capital D in front of it, but
actually, the worst one I've ever seen to date was Ronald's car. I was watching him at, I don't know what circuit it was now, but suddenly he slows down in the middle of sector 2. But he slows down to like 70 kilometers an hour at speed without accelerating again. And I thought, what is he doing? And I looked at the timing screen, and next to his name said pit. He was in the pits. I was seeing him drive into the pits, but he was on circuit, doing the speed limit. He was doing the pit speed limit on track.
There's nothing worse to see a quick driver being hampered by internet, so I'm honestly very happy that he's got better internet and he can show his skills. So, good on him. But
So it still leads, but just just 4/10 of a second there. So Nismax is keeping him honest. He's staying there. The moment he runs wide, the moment he makes a mistake, Nismax will be close enough.
yeah, looking at Nismax, he's got full ELS, so he's not really deploying it. He's leaving it on medium or
He just pushed it up to medium. Mode 3. It was in mode 2 and I only pushed it up by 1.
Good to see.
He just needs to stay there in second. There's no need for him to get punchy. He really doesn't need it. I mean, he can get past on a mistake, wait for a mistake, or try and get past in the pits. But no need to pull off any risky maneuvers.
No, to be honest, so far back behind in the championship, coming back, he's under severe pressure. And to put in a quite stellar performance like he's doing right now, it shows the class of the man. Really
He crashed.
Formula 1 driver.
I actually started off the season as Nismax's teammate. And if I remember correctly, he didn't get points in the first 3 races of this season. So
he battled, yeah.
So the first 3 races, I actually finished in the points, and all of Ferrari's constructor points came from me because he didn't finish the first 3 races. So to even be second in the championship at this point, it's he's really done very well in the second half of the championship.
Yeah, definitely. And you would know, Jonathan, and you, Robbie, coming from the early days in TnB and seeing these guys flourish like this in the class they're showing, and they picked up major pace. It's good to see. I love it.
It is fantastic. We've some of us, like myself, have just stayed slow. But a lot of drivers, we've seen them grow over time, and
you know what, Jonathan, I can look on the other side of the fence, and me exiting season 3 or 4 and joining you in the commentary box, streaming this class racing,
and it was a good season.
You've also grown leaps and bounds. It's just in a different area. And you know what? With all due respect to everybody, when I hear your voice streaming over my TV screen when I'm watching the stream back, it's fantastic. And the amount of knowledge you possess, it's
I've never watched back one of my own races, so don't really know what it sounds like, and when I do hear it, I mute it. So the few highlights videos that I did make, that's why the commentary isn't always very synced up, because it was on mute when I was doing it.
I don't watch it back either. It's because mainly I sound drunk, because I usually am, but
it's not that, you know, you can't say sound drunk if you are in fact drunk.
I cannot confirm yet deny these allegations. My lawyer taught me that. I'm gonna stick with that. No, but to be honest, you know, I get along with you quite well, and I can stream a full 100% race distance Formula One race with you with no problems. With not even thinking
there
what
is
to
one
say
thing.
next.
There is one thing we need to attempt as a commentary team. We need to commentate on a MotoGP race.
Oh shit.
Together, me and you.
That's right.
Yes.
Obviously now, let's not do it now because they're in the Rookie Cup and the 100% race is actually relatively short because it's Rookie Cup. But once they go up through the formulas, the race will get longer.
Yeah.
And then we can choose a track and we can do a commentary for that race. Because I think MotoGP is going to be a very different kind of commentary.
Yes. Sign me up anytime, but
I think if anyone watches back home, if we have any viewers for that MotoGP race, they might find themselves laughing at us.
just
Because
to,
Wazzy did give an attempt once and it didn't work well.
Yeah, no, it didn't go well.
He laughed throughout the race.
This Max looking
He
back,
was looking.
back off,
Yeah,
backed
he was
off.
looking. I saw him looking. He was having a little peek. I think he's caught in two minds really, because he's got a superior pace, and he's getting a little bit frustrated behind the McLaren there, but he's keeping his head, keeping his cool. But yeah, just to follow a little bit of subject, Jonathan, I've seen on WhatsApp
Yes.
awesome helmet you possess there.
Ah yes, I don't possess that helmet, but the guy that got it, he got it for an absolute steal. He got it at an auction for 3,500 rand.
Is that
And,
original?
That's an original AGV Rossi replica.
Point me in the direction of the
Every helmet's got a serial number, and there was only so many of that specific like livery or whatever. So it's got a number.
I recognize that helmet. That helmet comes from Rossi's days at Ducati.
He's still got some of the best helmets. That Nismax fastest lap, 158.5. So he's clearly faster.
Yeah, but
And
if you look closely,
I think if he gets past, he's gonna run away.
if you look closely, the rain's also lightened up quite a bit. So
Yeah.
Definitely,
the
just a couple of drops falling across the screen, and in some places you don't see drops coming down the straight here. So he's gonna lighten up.
That's why I don't trust Jeff with his little crayons, because he's not always right.
Because he predicted dry right at the end, and we're on lap 16 of 61. So clearly that was incorrect information from Jeff.
I can see a dry line appearing slightly. If you look very closely, you'll see a dry line.
Yeah.
And yes, gentlemen, we are in for a race. It's not over yet. Out of personal experience.
Your two leaders are from two different tiers. Don't forget that.
Yeah. No, look.
So both of these drivers, if this finishes the way it is, both of these drivers will take home 25 points.
I could have told you right back in Canada that Texas got pace. He's got good single lap pace. This is the first time that he's showing it in the race, and he's keeping it consistent, which is good to see. Personally, I don't know him very well. He's quite a new driver, and I know he's quick. I didn't know he was consistent, and he's showing it tonight, which is good to see.
It's also one of those circuits that if you're able to hold a good, consistent line,
This
you
match
can make it difficult for
looking
people to pass.
not going
Yeah.
for it.
Obviously, things will get easier for Nizmax if it does dry up. He's going to have the use of DRS, and he's been within a second for quite some time now, so he would have been able to use DRS this whole time, and he got awfully close on that straight, and I'm sure if he did have DRS, he would have made the pass.
The problem that Nizmax has got now is with the track drying a little bit, especially on this track. I've experienced it myself. If you're stuck behind a car in a dirty air, like you can see Nizmax sliding around there, you overheat your tires so quick, especially on the inters. So yeah, he's managing and he's attacking at the same time, which is not easy.
Oh, there's
Just see
some
him
other battle
slipping
for
a little bit
Racer.
again.
And it's a freeway battle for 8.
Let's see, why Racer had some wing damage on lap 1 and he went to the pits, put on some wets. I believe he went into the pits again and put in some inters, and he's in ninth. Our resident Dutchman doing well, showing his class.
Red Bull, McLaren, and a Renault all driving pretty close together.
The track
And for
drying
8th
out,
place,
we can witness
see a lot of changes in the. We could see a lot of changes in positions.
Around the outside, Racer.
Stop too early, stop too late. Could cost you some serious positions.
We've got some cars pulling into the pits, giving up on these tires. So that tells me that the track's drying up quite a bit.
I still see drops on my screen.
I think
is it too early?
It's too early for dryers, but it's getting there.
The Wolf going for a set of ultras.
Nah, it's too soon. Too soon. I think we'll keep an eye on his pace, but I think it's a little bit.
Well, he's dropping down the field. He's just lost him. There we go. He's gonna come out now. Oh, and he's slipping and. Just have a look at 7th place, the Wolf. Doesn't look too comfortable. Let's see into the braking zones.
Oh dear, no. That
Car does look squirmish. Definitely too early.
And the judge.
Judge retiring from the session.
Oh, and the leaders just passed him into a wall at the start of the final sector.
Oh, we've got Ati right on the Wolf here. Having
Wolf really battling and now
Ooh. There's a bit aggressive.
Keep it clean. Just over the bridge. Keep it calm. Get on the straight. Nail him down there. Yeah, true, Jonathan. I can still see some raindrops. I think the inter tire is still the tire to be on.
Definitely too early.
And there you go. Springbok came up next to.
Out of the traction zone, out sprints him by
a
3
mile.
car lengths.
Wolf just doesn't have the grip into those braking points, and he doesn't have the grip when he needs it in those traction zones, and it's costing him critical time. He's going down the order. Problem is now, if he has to go back onto inters and then change back onto dryers in a couple of laps, he'll destroy his race. So does he stay out? It can only get better. I don't think it's going to start raining hard again.
If you made the decision, stick with it. It doesn't help you go into the pit again.
Because then you're just going to have to go back in.
He stays out and he's playing some drifting here, guys.
Oof. Oh, awfully close to ending it all. It's getting a bit too near to that pit wall.
Oh, cutting the corner there.
Cuts turn 1, 3-second time penalty. Oof.
Oh,
Oof.
yeah.
Back end
Yeah,
just stepping out completely, almost clipping the wall. It's just got to keep it on circuit, but does appear
Yeah,
to
the
be
thing is,
difficult. I must
don't you
say I'm not
destroy.
noticing as many drops. There are still a few.
nah, it's getting
See,
lighter and
just
lighter and lighter. And we are not even half race distance. So,
obviously no DRS just yet, but when we do see that DRS, then it means it's definitely time.
yeah, these guys are pushing these inters as far as they can go to get to the drive stint, I'm thinking.
Definitely the leaders have now done 19 laps on their set of inters. As I say, that
Taxi's in.
Tix dives into the pits. Now let's
For
see what
what?
he's going to put on.
Set of inters, another
Oh,
set of
inters.
inters.
He's coming on for a set of inters and a wing.
And a wing change.
Maybe
That must
So,
picking
be
up
the
some
main.
damage
That must be
somewhere
the
along
main
the line.
reason. Yeah.
Ooh, and he disappears out of the pits without a pull-off.
No,
And the
on my
safety
screen
car's
saw it.
on my screen. The safety car's on 2 wheels.
Fantastic. Cody's, well done.
As
or is
Tix
making a
as
move on
Tix
Reno
as Tix
in the
exits the
hairpin.
pits, he drives past the safety car, and the safety car is jumping onto 2 wheels and falling back down, and jumping onto 2 wheels.
John, I had that in qualifying.
Something I have not seen. Just I think I've seen it all, but I never have. Springbok Gamer now picking up a 3-second time penalty, so haven't really been able to keep track of these penalties.
There's a battle
What
for 8 at this stage. Reno and
There's
my
a
racer.
there's a feature you could put into the game, Codemasters, and it shouldn't be too difficult. Put a way of tracking penalties in spectator view.
Yeah.
You could
It'd be
just
quite
get here
nice.
by your detail where it's position change and tire and all of that. If it just had penalties, and it would add up everyone's penalties.
Yeah.
That could work. Because trying to keep track of this stuff by looking at the race report is very difficult. Let's have a look. Race director, incidents.
And Vino doing very well. Also in the top 10. Racing down the McLaren. Good
He
to
and
see
Juarez
the
has been
man.
in a battle for the last couple of laps.
Yeah. And the man is on a brand new rig with a new steering wheel. Getting to grips with it, and then it looks like he's winning.
And in the chaos, obviously Nismax now in the lead of the race by 27 seconds.
Yeah, but that promotes DW up to second, and
Ooh, okay, never mind. I just
Both of them,
had some lag.
Nismax and DW, both on inters that are 20 laps old. Obviously, both of them thinking the same way. We've got to push these Villarreal's retired.
oh dear.
Didn't see what happened there.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I was following the leader. There we
he,
go. I just saw him under the bridge. He's lost the wheel. Obviously went wide, hit the barrier. That's the end of his race. That'll obviously promote Staffy into the points. Not enough points. DW now finds himself in second place. And then Tux obviously on that brand new set of Inters. Just one lap old.
Toro Rosso struggling on that set of dries.
Let's go back to the Toro Rosso and just have a look. I still see a few drops on screen.
Hello, you poison girl. Did you miss me?
Oh, she truck you on.
Hey, is you ever
Johan
close
is back.
You must see what it
Kijk
looks
en
like.
daar, ek kry nou net 'n vars message van Yvette af.
Ja,
Dirk se vrou en sy sê die stream is dood.
she's panicking. No, the stream was never dead. Stream still ran. It's just a controller switch off while I was quickly away. But yeah, I see some places got some heavy rain. Really heavy stuff. But yeah,
So still
Internet
raindrops falling on your screen.
the internet should go steady now, I think also guys, because it's a lot quieter now compared to earlier tonight rain-wise here. And of course, as you just said, now I see it actually happens in the race as well. It's going lighter now.
Wolf still struggling, that back end stepping out. And he drifts around the final corner. But at least having not having any altercations with the pit wall on this occasion.
Did that, while I was away, did that network now stabilize? So
comes in.
I see Tux
Sorry,
is now
what was that?
Tux finally shows us being
DRS
passed.
enabled. DRS has been enabled.
No, Tux has made a pit stop, Johan.
Ja,
I
hy
see
het
now.
geput, ja.
Tux made a pit stop for a brand new set of Inters.
But that was for lagging,
And
it's
DRS
actually
is
now
just-
better.
And White Racer is in the pit, so he maybe got it out the...
Seems to have stabilized, yeah.
Good stuff.
With
I haven't
the
seen so many
grind
time jumps anymore.
Because as I left, I saw
the grind
comments about him lagging, jumping all over the place. But as I say, I think it's going to be better.
That was almost the end of Wolf.
Oh.
Slid across the track and
Toto!
narrowly missed the wall.
Ja,
If you just ride on board with Wolf, you'll see the back end of that car jumping
I'm
out
with him, I'm
every
with him.
second corner.
Oh, that looked like a massive moment as well.
And guys,
Absolutely
Martin
struggling.
with the
Why
truck
is
changing phase, we've got almost half the grid. DNF.
And we're not even we're not even halfway through yet.
No, the track conditions are very severe.
it's not raining anymore.
But three drivers out on track.
I'm gonna see that.
Three drivers out on track on ultras. Two drivers out on track on softs. So DW actually out on a set of ultras.
Ooh,
Your
Steph.
leader still on intermediates.
Spinning in the pit lane for Steph. Ooh. Yeah, but Wolf
is really struggling.
Yo. And he's going around to another one. Ooh, not coming in.
Yeah, he's
Shouldn't
on
be
his dry
struggling.
tires.
Shouldn't be struggling that much. DRS has just been enabled. Those
Yes.
tires should be coming up to operating temperature now.
I think the problem is he pitted too early and those tires are still cold.
We've got Nizmax in the
That's
pits
Max,
as well.
your leader comes into the pits, lead of 55 seconds.
Let's see.
And he's going for a set of softs.
Not a bad idea. They will
Long
make
stint.
the end if it goes dry from here.
Almost there he is.
Coming out of the pits now, that gap was 55 seconds, I believe. We'll see how much it's come down.
Wolf is still sliding.
Probably closer to a 30-second gap.
Yeah. But
Some serious lightning again.
like mother.
Yo, now it's right there by you now. But now
Hello.
it actually calmed down here. I still got lighting here, but it's a lot calmer now.
That gave me a fright.
Just like back in the days of primary
Somewhere-
school, hè, was he?
Ja, nee, bliksem, het is my sommer net geslaap.
It's interesting to see that Wolf is still losing the rear of that Toro Rosso. You'd think his tires would be up to temperature by now.
It will become now, but I think he's been sliding around so much in the wet, he's been overheating them actually. I think that's his problem right now. And we've got Ati in front of him with brand new set of Ultras.
Ooh.
Cameron with a brand new set
Cameron.
of softs. So, let's have a look.
Here we go.
Let's have
Where's
a look.
Wolf's tires now? Looks like up to temperature because fastest lap.
It's switched on now, but look at the gents.
But
around him because
he's under pressure by Ronald.
I think he's got 6 laps old
There
tires.
should be this. Oh, not. I think
Ronald just
Ronald would
sticking
have
the
him.
nose out. He goes down the inside, but
Outside there. Why
Wolf
race
will have
off?
the inside going into the
Oh,
next one.
Wolf goes
Way
wide.
to
Oh.
undercut. Man. Well done. Yeah, no, that shows a sign of a gentleman that has some experience in racing.
Sorry, Yvette. I see it looks like Yvette went a little bit nervous there with me leaving and the controller switching off. She didn't see the feed there, and I think if Yvette went nervous, what about Gavin?
Checker.
Well,
Not
Gavin.
looking.
Well, Gavin, as it looks now, it's definitely Nismax winning this championship. I know it's quite a long way to go, but if things stays unchanged, that is Nismax's championship. Well, of course, just to remind everybody, of course, even if it stayed with Tix in first place and Nismax second, that's also. So pretty much from the start of his race till now, it was actually still good stuff for Nismax.
Indeed.
But of course now DW is
Just-
second, that is also a tier 1 driver, so of course different story. If he
But
should pass
yeah,
Nismax,
exactly.
but quite
Look,
a
have
decent
a
gap between Nismax and DW.
You can't call the tier 2 drivers too few. Looking at this grid I'm seeing right now with Tux, Ronald, Wolf. I mean,
Ek het gesê sorry, jy weet. Was dit as prins nie? Maar however, hierso was regtig nuts. And why the race now with fastest lap? Of course, now as those tires coming up to temperature, of course, gaps will stabilize now as well. Of course, you'll see the lap time dropping even further.
Looks like Wolf isn't sliding around anymore.
And all the way from 3rd to 7th is all tier 2
By the way,
drivers.
Yvette, she's so Gavin-achtig hoor.
No, Cameron is in
LOL.
4th. He's tier 1.
Boys, am I missing it? That the Pigo all very quiet.
Yeah, it's gone very quiet. I wonder if he's tuned out. Was
but
watching
yeah,
earlier. Even offered me dollars to jump into my Ferrari and take my teammate out.
Oh dear, no. Gavin.
I did say, well, you earn dollars, so I do still have a Ferrari. And then he said, name your price. And I was like, no, I was kidding.
I have to put a disclaimer on stream right now is that Gavin has offered me a bribe of a full case of beer to win this race, and I decided to buy my own case of beer
And that's
have
where
it
all your interest went,
while
so
I'm
no more.
racing.
No more. Because you got your own beer, all bets went out the door.
To be honest, I didn't want to interfere with the whole proceedings, so
Yeah, it's better that way, mind your own
I'm having
business.
fun. I'm having
Gavin
Why
will
race
not
you
be
going
a fan
faster?
of your comment.
I love Gavin. Gavin loves me slightly, so we'll get over it.
Hey, this is F1, this is no bloody Barney the dinosaur. No more I love you, you love me crap. Please, stop it now.
Oh, come on now, Johan. We all a bunch of guys that love racing.
I might be old, but I'm no bloody dinosaur. I'm not prehistoric, so no Barney, please.
You could be Barney.
Hey,
How tall you are.
With that mouth, you will see Barney, and I'm not talking about a dinosaur.
Ooh, Barney on Jacaranda.
No, I'm not talking about a rocker. I talk about the thing that you do when me and you go one-on-one.
Wanneer jy rol, ja.
Yes, I say.
Ja. Bonnie.
You see, the guys from the east will know exactly what that means.
Natuurlijk.
I know, and it looks like, yeah, I'm not mistaken, Nesmax bit by bit actually just making that gap bigger. And he's actually getting to the point where he's pretty much got a pit stop in his hands. Of course, heaven forbid there's no lagging anything anywhere and those gaps are real.
Yeah, I can tell you what. I'm riding with DW and I'm on board with him and he's pushing. He's pushing very hard.
Yeah, but Tux actually fell back to him as well. I mean, almost 20-second gap there.
Now you can see his ERS is well under halfway.
Just remind me, guys, sorry, just something that we spoke about earlier, Rob. That crazy car that you got when you started somehow, it actually put you in the race. Is that car out for good?
Yeah, I crashed it on lap 1 when everyone pulled away.
No, but did it actually remove a car?
Yeah, it's DNF.
Okay, cool, perfect.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
DNF.
Great stuff. Because I know Jonathan did mention that was a concern because sometimes you do retire, but somehow the game still keeps the car in there.
No, Johan, I drove into a barrier.
Awesome. And I saw you crash. I saw you retire. I just want to make sure that car is out. Of course, because I did miss now a few laps with me being away now for a moment. Apologies for that.
Yeah, the swak.
Yeah.
Gavin
Says
has
the
gone
one who
rogue.
gets scared of the lighting and the thunder.
Gavin has gone rogue.
Gavin definitely rogue. He's definitely rogue. He probably, I'll bet, he passed out.
No, on his way to Nesmax.
Frying some spare ribs there, having some beer and seeing some white people. I'm sure it's a lot of excitement.
It's just been too much. And this race was, of course, the cherry on the cake. Too much excitement for one day.
I hope he's not eating pork.
Well, he did eat spare ribs, but I don't know. He's probably the only
Cannibalism.
He's
Doesn't
the
that count
only.
as cannibalism?
Yeah, but he's the only pig. He's the only.
Ghana, it's like being in exile for a lot of years. So when he gets out, it's like, dude, you eat what your heart wants. And
yeah, but still, how many pigs do you know that's got a spare set of ribs? Especially after Promos broke your ribs the night before.
Net een, sy naam is die vark.
Yeah, well, he must have.
I think he's definitely passed out because all the smack we're talking is not even getting his attention.
Yeah.
I think the man's passed out.
You'll get a message on the group going like, what the hell?
I think
the man is literally passed out under a pile of Heineken bottles. He's done.
He's realized there's no way back here, so he drowned his sorrows.
You know what?
Should have brought your PS to South Africa.
Yes.
I'm on board with the vet, and he's cutting some beautiful lines through this track here. It's hard to see where he's slower, to be honest.
Cameron is, if you look at 4th place, Cameron's coming under pressure from Springbok Aimer.
Yes, slowly but surely.
Nice
Slowly but
battle
surely,
there.
Springboks
Springbok
coming. Yeah, Springboks on him.
Springbok came and paused. Arnold, T2 champion.
Yay. It's
I
Springbok.
told you he wanted to beat the Force Indians and he's got amongst them. And
Of course, just a reminder, if that stays as is, that means Springbok Gamer will finish second in Tier 2.
the man wants a podium. Go on, Ati. Get it.
Ati,
Just remember, guys, artists will have to put again where Cam won't have to.
but I think it's
can
more
never
case
say
like
that.
it's very hard
You
in
can never
PMB
say
tonight. It's very hard in PMB,
You
and
can-
Ati want to do Wazi. Just want to lick that pink card now.
Yeah, the thing is, the old Jeff with his crayon said it will not rain at the end of the race. Now the rain is
We're not
ended halfway. It doesn't mean
Ooh,
it
Ati.
won't start again. So I think the guys on the ultras is banking that it will rain again.
Correct.
And if that happens, the soft tires won't mean nothing.
Yeah.
It will be a serious equalizer.
Yeah.
And DW might take his ultra softs to the
Because
end.
the guys on softs would have just been lapping slower for no reason. So if the rain comes back, it could really shake everything up.
I can
You
see.
can
If
never
things
really
remain the
say.
same, that gap to DW is continuing to grow slowly, but it is growing. 28 seconds now.
Yeah.
So Nizmax firmly in control on that set of
And
softs
Tex
that should go
is
to the
close.
end.
now.
And Tex is closing in on DW.
Correct. And at the same time, Nismax is pulling just further and further away from DW, so I'm not sure if DW is straggling there or something.
Ati had a little look at Cameron.
Very, very
Yes.
close. He's passed the one Force India. He wants to pass this one.
Ooh.
Yeah. He wants to beat them.
You know what? Somehow
And he
I
is
can
punchy.
see. I can see Yvette going here. Go Lovey, go Lovey, go Lovey. But
Yes,
just now,
Yvette.
you need to encourage the guy, but
Support
now
your
you need to
money.
encourage him the right way, otherwise he might just lose concentration.
Yeah. That's true.
So Yvette is in a tough
then
place at the
Gavin will
moment.
too.
for that. Then Gavin will hope that something happens.
Yvette, by the way, Yvette, whatever you do, well, if you encourage him, all good, but whatever you do, don't show him the bottle of Ricky nor the bottle of Cap.
Boys, Yvette, as jy 'n weird message kry van Gavin, moet dit nie lees nie. Just ignore it, because he's trying to bribe you badly.
Ati making a move on Cam.
Oh, but Ati, on the outside.
Run outside!
Ja, nee, is alright, is alright,
Beautiful.
Yvette, hou op die bier, ek dink die bier sal hom goed doen. Dis die captain en die Ricky Wauregwari. Want as daai van eers begin skop
Bier is
plaat.
altyd goed. Ek sê al vir die manne jare lank, drink bier, jy gaan alright wees. Hulle wil nie hoor nie, hulle drink die vuil coke.
En dis daai fout ook wat so hard klap.
Exactly.
Moet net die man se konsentrasie verbreek hier, Yvette. Sit by coke en sit daai chips en daai bier maar net stilletjies neer. Want that gap now, Tux is now really another 4 seconds gone between Tux and DW.
You know what makes my heart so happy is about 10-15 laps ago, Jonathan, I said Ati wants to beat the Force Indians and he's passed them on track like a champion. Love
And he's
it.
actually getting
Love
away
that
from
kid.
Cam now.
Yeah. The
He
man
has
is
to
on
build.
fire.
He has to build now a big enough gap to put and
Correct,
still
to
come out in front of them.
those softs, you're right, because I was about to say the same thing, because you need to do something, really make these tires count, yeah.
If we can make these tires last for 6 laps, it's a second of
Moet nie worry nie, Yvette, die kaptein, die selfe kaptein het gisterand by my ook kom kuier. En hy het sy vriend die Russiese beertjie saamgebring.
Oh god. Waar was jy gisterand?
Just in the mood after action cricket before bed, so I just felt the need and I had a few.
Mooi man.
And I did experiment a bit. So instead of Coke, I see how I actually tried how Captain goes down with Sprite. So it was reason to drink. It was all science related.
Okay.
Hey, where's Porra now? Porra's going quiet. Is the weather getting the hang of him now?
I'm still here.
Yay! Oh, but Cam is not letting Ati get away fast quick. And it's almost like, yeah, Ronald's also now catching on Cam. Ooh, Staffy now left the session. Staffy now with this guy. Ay. So that's actually why Staffy is so far back, disconnects.
And I think Tex might be about 3 seconds a lap faster than
Yes,
at this stage.
big time. And I mean, the DW Nismax gap is now almost 40 seconds. Hey, Steph, I agree with you here, but yeah, internet, I said it up front already, internet's going to be a challenge tonight with this weather stuff happening.
Now you guys have weather, I have no weather at all, not even wind.
Yeah, because that's so hot, you scare the rain away.
Yeah, I'm not in Pretoria at this stage, so...
Yeah, you're further north. Yeah, exactly. It's so hot for you, like I say, you scare the rain away.
We actually had 1 week where it just rained through the night and it was actually quite nice. But it's now hot again.
No, this one was built up because it was actually hot for the last couple of days, and tonight, hey, it was coming down. Big time.
And look at that, the gap between the vet and Texas 3.1 seconds.
I should net that encourage the Yvette my ek is nou so lus vir vuil Coke.
Where is the problem in sector 1?
Yeah, Nismax now 40 seconds. Dux is really pretty much with the vet now. But of course now also the key thing is the W's on those ultra softs with the other two guys on softs. So, and Jonathan mentioned it, we spoke about it right at actually the beginning. Before the race even qualifying we mentioned tyre management. I doubt it. If it stays dry, I doubt that the soft's going to make it. Although it seems likely, I don't think so.
Oh,
hey, DW goes faster. Oh, Tex one. That will actually give DW a bit of a breather.
Big mistake. Just getting too close to the wall at the airpin.
Really pushing.
I know how that feels.
All of that hard work is now, he's just going to have to build again. Oh, and the two Force Indians now is going to go at it. Ronald right on the back of Cam. Of course, as they battling each other, Springbok came and now managed to open up a gap.
I should think Ronald should go fast. Because Ronald is on a set of ultras.
But Cam's not making it easy.
There's no love lost here.
No.
Oh.
So you just see pieces flying
Definitely wing damage.
Part of in-plate is missing.
Now guys, I'm really starting to believe that pig is gone. Fast asleep.
No, that mistake from Ronald cost him a
Yes,
lot of
that costing him time
downforce.
and of downforce time, and of course now even on those stretch, the car's not going to perform as it should.
He's close, but maybe not close enough.
And Cam, of course, on a good day can also be a handful, not easy to pass. And Tux now starting slowly but surely to catch up with DW again.
Looked like Cam just touched the wall.
Of course,
no damage though.
Mr. Rimming Gaming himself, of course, big fan of the walls. Ooh, Wolf, time penalty.
He's now on a set of softs. He not on that set of ultras he was on. And I have the glitch that the commentators hate most.
Which glitch?
Yeah. On Ronald's car. Yeah, Ronald is actually staying with Cameron, yeah.
Yeah, he's on the ultra, so with time though he'll get slower.
See a bit of lag on Ronald's side.
Yeah, I saw the jump as well.
Ooh, and Cam losing the back.
Ronald just can't get enough on those straights now. Ronald's having a look on the inside though, but thinking of it, nah, not gonna go for it. But of course, in the meantime, now it allows Springbok Gamer to get away even further now.
Yeah.
Hovering
much,
gap is gap is hovering around about the 8 seconds gap place now. And Tux, Tux is catching up with DW again. And Nismax now 50 seconds ahead. Yo. Yellow flag out again. Oh, that's something unusual.
Sure.
DW with a time
DW.
penalty. That's not something you see every day.
Yep.
I mean, if you look at the whole season so far, if you look at time penalties and stuff, him and Nismax, it's very seldom those two get a time penalty.
Yeah. I think Ronald might get Cam, yeah.
Well, at the moment, Cam is just putting his car just in all the right places.
Maybe on the next straight of DRS?
Not this time round.
Ooh. I don't know why, but he keeps on lagging into turn 1.
I just saw quite a jump there into turn 1.
But of course,
That's Ronald.
Car just about left the ground.
And Ronald is on the faster tyre, so he should actually be able to get past Cam easily.
He's close enough. Yeah,
This time he's going to go on the inside.
Close now.
Braking light, and this time he makes it happen. No, that's perfect.
I think Cameron, I think it won't be as easy as that. I think Cameron will come back at him. Of course, this has let Ati disappear off the road.
Yes. Ati's
11 seconds up the road.
11 seconds on, and as we say, that Tux is right on the back of the W now.
Into turn 1, you think?
Oh, and Tux definitely got a much better drive now, much faster car. DW goes on the inside to defend Tux, DRS.
Oh,
the
nice
outside.
defending there by DW.
Yeah, correct. Plus.
DW good defending, but I think it's just delaying the inevitable. Surely Tux will have. Oh, Tux again, just put it too much over apex, taking too much of that corner, but not as serious as the last time round. And he goes on the inside and he makes it. He runs wide.
Runs wide.
Way too deep. but immediately back on it again. And I see the judge now has
TW will
actually
stay
left the
second for
session.
now.
He crashed early in the race.
Yes, but he was obviously still watching or something, but I see he also gave up now.
I can tell you what, he's performing like they should, defending like a champion. He's enjoying this, the old war horse.
We all know DW is actually hard to get past. Because especially you, Wazzy, you will know how hard it is to get past him.
He will make you break that half a meter further later. Make that mistake and breeze past you again and just... you can feel him smiling outside the car, going
No, I've also struggled to get past DW.
This battle for second really getting tight.
There he goes again. I repeat. Oh, very close on DW.
Look at that, very close.
Inside,
He's going to go side by side with DRS.
That should make it happen
this time.
Yep, and he's
Got just got to make it stick. Yeah, he does.
And that just makes the gap, and all that did was make the gap bigger between Tuxa and Nismax.
Which is now almost a minute.
Well, if Gavin has in fact passed out, when he wakes up and finds out that not only Nismax won the race, but he won it by a minute,
he's going to pass out again.
Impressed.
He's going to pass out again.
He'll just faint.
I'll wake up to some threatening messages, I'm sure.
Probably spend most of his South African trip passed out. Japan didn't win you the championship.
Yeah, too bad.
Just goes to show you can have mega pace at any stage of the season, but you have to have the consistency.
And you have to race the
Gavin
race.
is alive.
Yay!
What did he say?
What a champion we're going to have after this race. Full and respectable racing driver to Nismax. Dirk, you are the champion.
Somebody else must have typed it.
Yeah, probably. That doesn't sound like the pig.
That wasn't Gavin. That doesn't sound like the pig. Not at all. That was someone.
Station.
Oh, South Africa is making the pig soft. They're marinating him.
Gavin, as jy hier was, want jy fighting calls for the thing. Jou tyd sal kom.
It was me. Are you sure, Gav? Can we have evidence? No, please, Gav, keep your toilet humor to yourself. Because we all know what you do to toilets.
Ronald has since gotten away from Cameron.
Yeah.
2.5 seconds.
But Atti is making use of those softer tires. Well, sorry, not softer. Ronald's actually on the same compound. And Atti actually pulled that gap open to Ronald even further. It's now just under 15 seconds.
He just went up to 15.
Nismax passes Ronald to lap him. And he slowed down quite abruptly to let Nismax through, and that's allowed Cameron to close the gap back to 0.3 of a second.
And that gap to Atiaf opened up to 17 seconds. That's how much he slowed. 3 seconds.
So that battle of the Force Indias will resume.
Yeah, I think Cameron will have the ascendancy soon because he's got the softer tires, and I think those ultras are pretty done now.
As we go later on into the race, those tires will just get worse, and Cam's tires will still have a lot of life on them.
Oof.
Oof, what happened there?
That was not being very nice.
Well,
Oh, Cameron is lagging big time now.
oh wow.
Sorry, not
I
Cameron,
don't know
Ronald.
who that
Ronald.
was.
Ronald.
No,
Yeah.
Ronald.
It
Ronald
was
lagging.
Ronald.
On my screen, Cameron got passed and Ronald just reappeared in front.
Ronald gets a
Oh.
3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. It wasn't something I saw on screen though.
Just have a look at Cameron. He's lining him up badly. He wants this pass.
If that car is lagging in front of Cameron, I'm sure Cameron wants to get past and
Correct.
far away.
Last thing you want is to stay behind the lagging car.
That got close.
Check. Oh, on the out. Oh, yeah. Some more leg.
So definitely some connection issues with the leading Force India. Let's hope it's not going to lead to the demise of both of them because they're awfully close.
Cam makes a mistake.
He's actually lost a bit of time with that. Just drop back a little bit.
No gainer. Just keep his tires in tow there. Not overheat them.
This is helping Ati. Oh, and Ronald.
Oof.
No, what happened there?
That's a decent.
Ooh. That's the day.
Ronald.
Cameron now
Ooh,
gets a
Cameron.
2-second time penalty, so Force India's taking turns. And now that gap has grown to over 1.2 seconds, so Cameron out of DRS.
I think he's busy overheating his tires as well. Looking at the way he's driving.
Your leader taking it as easy as can be.
And
Still
that
leading
gap-
by 57 seconds,
Yes,
so
and that
that's
gap
just
is
actually
remaining.
stabilized.
It's remaining at
He hasn't
57.
grown it. We thought it would be a minute shortly thereafter, but it's remained 57 seconds. So Tux definitely has pace.
Let us hope it's not a Singapore specialist. We can carry that through to all other tracks.
And then their third, fourth and fifth, all on ultras. So presumably all of those cars will stop again. Y Racer has gone past the Wolf. He's now moved up to 7th. Not a bad day for McLaren. 2nd and 7th. Nesmac still leads and that gap remains solid at 57 seconds. Yeah, Tix in second and then a further 16 seconds down the road.
Oh, DW is falling back.
Obviously Tix made that pass on DW a few laps ago and that gap's grown to 17 seconds, so showing some serious pace.
Ronald made another mistake. Ooh, and Cam again into that barrier.
Now he's pushing.
Something's gonna happen.
I'm sure if you were the Force India team boss right now, you'd be very nervous.
Yeah.
Very, very nervous. Was that fastest lap for Y Racer?
Yeah.
I just saw it flash across the screen. I didn't really get a chance to read it.
Oh! Some more leg, I'm sure.
That's a lot of lag.
It's lag.
They
Lag
went
on
side. They went side by side on my screen, and then suddenly Ronald jumped 9/10 of a second up the road. I'm sure Cam is getting frustrated if this is what he's seeing in front of him. Just got to keep a cool head, and the mistake will happen. And he is on the softs, so Ronald will pit. Just don't take on the laggy car. Never ends well.
Judging by the understeer I'm seeing on Cameron's car right now, he's gonna have to put as well.
He's obviously been pushing. Maybe he's just taken the best out of those tyres. Really late on the brakes, almost ended in tears.
Like I said when Nismax was following pit, in the dirty air of the car in front, you have to manage and you have to attack at the same time. You can't have both.
Cameron died. Yeah. Oh.
Ooh, the Force Indians make contact.
These
Oh,
guys,
that's
Now they
it.
go
This is-
side by side,
this is going to
and
end up
Cam
in
yields
tears.
for the time
This is going
being.
to end up in tears.
Cam yields for the time being. Ronald goes back in front, but the gap just 0.3 of a second, 0.2 of a second. So
I'm
Cam
glad I
is going to
don't-
line him up for another one. He's up the inside, and he's look at that 3-second time penalty for Cam. He jumps the corner a little bit, and
Oh, both of them go
now
wide
there's a
there.
collision.
And Cam opposite now also losing pieces there.
Cam losing some wing.
Because both of them went wide
No, not
there.
a dive. Oh. I'm
I'm not
glad
sure
I'm
what's
not-
going on. I don't know if they've just annoyed each other enough and now they're going for each other, but both of them have wing damage.
I'm glad I'm not in the Force India garage at this stage.
No, same here.
I know how it was in the McLaren garage being his teammates.
I don't think it will go any better. Or any different. I think that damage he sustained is actually now going to put him back.
Cam not as close as he was. Maybe just
Of course, that Nismax
drivers react differently to damage.
That ticks Nismax
Some
gap
guys
is
can
now
handle
over
the
a minute.
damage better.
Ooh,
And it
Cameron.
looks like Nismax now actually started to move away from ticks now. Gap is actually on the increase.
Cameron thinking about it
And
again.
Cameron loses
Oh.
more wing.
Oh,
He
and
should have
there,
had to pit now.
and there that Ronald.
This could very well be Ronald's car jumping around with lag and Cameron just trying to stay out of the way. This could be the impact that we're seeing.
Yep.
So yeah, now that lead at the front was 57 seconds for the longest time. It looked like it had stabilized. Now it's a minute. So when you win a race, always solved by 1 minute.
Oh, and
That's
DW
called
into the
domination.
pits. DW exiting on another set of ultra softs.
That
Two
might
Force India
actually,
still at it.
that might actually see him through because only like 14 laps remaining after this.
And Ronald comes into the pits. Cam would be happy.
Springbok Gamer now running there in third position.
Now's the
Of
time
course.
for Cam to push. Because even if he does need to stop again, he needs to push in these next couple of laps to make sure that he can jump Ronald in the pit stop. See, both of them will probably, yes, Ronald has to change a wing. And obviously when Cam, if he comes in, he's going to have to change a wing as well. So now he needs to really get those lap times in. Tux with a 3-second time penalty. I really wish I could keep track of this. I'd love to know what some of these penalties are by now.
Because all of them, some of these penalties are now flying thick and fast.
Can remember back to the beginning of the race, the very first penalty we saw was for the judge. And it was 10 seconds. Just 10-second penalty for corner cutting.
Not 3 like that, so it was 10.
So I'm not sure what you have to do to get 10 seconds.
Cameron is really getting close to the walls of that damaged ring. And 30 pets. And he will come out ahead of Cameron. Oh, yeah. He just comes out ahead of Cameron by 5/10 of a second.
Cameron will now get DRS. There we go. Activates DRS. Goes into the slipstream of the horse, but not close enough.
And the horse of Ati is now just gonna pull away on that fresh set of ultra softs.
Ronald went into the pits, and he's come out on a set of hypers.
Somehow I can actually see Nismax playing some Akon. That's what I know, that's what I think Rob might know that, because that was a bit before Rob's time. Of course, if I say Akon, I'm referring to that song. You know which one, Jonathan?
Not sure.
Lonely, I'm so
lonely, I have nobody.
And I'm saying that's pretty much what Nismax is singing right about now.
I know this song, Johan. I actually know it.
Wow.
I actually think I'm watching Cameron's car, and I think those collisions we saw and that damage we saw was just lag. Because if you look at Cameron's front wing, he's got both the end plates.
And Springbok Gamer did enough, because he put it and he definitely did enough to stay ahead of Povo's Force Indies.
John, there is damage. If you look at Cam's car, you can see the damage on Cam's car.
And also if you look at how quick
Cam hits the wall again.
If you look at Springbok Gamer actually getting away from Cam, so that also explains.
So now got that fresh set of ultra soft. It's on aging softs. It's already done 25 laps on that set of softs, and he was in dirty air pushing for a majority of that time.
And he has some damage.
So I don't think those tyres are in
good shape now.
What has happened to Wazzy?
What?
Wazzy's going quiet on
Where Wazzy has disappeared. Went to check on the value of his shares at SAB.
Oh.
Just a bit of a clip of the wall there from Cam.
No,
be careful now, he cut the corner.
Another time penalty just for good measure.
Not 100% sure, but I think his penalties are either 9 or 12 seconds.
Hou die champion nog uit daarso. Dixon Nismax both 26 laps on pulling away further and further and further. That gap is on the up again. And for a while it stayed at 57 seconds. But of course, can we believe us? Possibly. Because obviously what we said not too long ago, we'll just call it as we see it, because it's difficult to see what's what with a lagging.
And
Tux now comes into the pits.
pits.
5 seconds stop go penalty for speeding.
Ooh.
Coming. This Max also going to play it safe and can also come in for new tires.
Might as well. It's got a 1 minute gap.
Remember Baku, I expected him to do the same and he actually then crashed, because I also expected him to come in, put on fresh rubber, play it safe. Of course, another guy that can look after his tires. 10 laps after this and yellow flag. Oh, and that is Steffi's Alfa Romeo that actually spun there by the looks of it.
Oh, and Cam getting close to the wall. And Race is catching him. And Cam goes into the pits.
That will promote Y-Racer up to 5th.
Yeah, but he would have lost time to Ronald. And
Springbok Gamer safe for that 4th place.
Cameron lost a lot of time in that exchange. Obviously they were very close together when Ronald dived into the pits. Now a few laps later Cameron's dived into the pits and it's going to come out, what, almost 20 seconds behind Ronald. Oh, 19 seconds.
Didn't work out for him. I mean, not too long ago they were right with one another.
He's
pushing Ronald. Oh, here we go.
He hasn't.
Nesmax coming into the pits. He's going to actually play it safe this time.
It's championship at stake.
He's got so much time. He could do this close laps.
It's not only a win at stake, it's a championship at stake.
Correct.
Most likely going to come out on a set of hypers.
Ultras, no, he comes out on a set of ultras.
So the only man on hypers for the time being is Ronald. Seems to have worked for him. 20 seconds ahead of Cameron now.
Question is those hypers of Ronald gonna last till the end?
Now we're just hoping basically that back markers keep a distance and just stay out of the way. Last thing you want now is for back markers to course the championship. You don't want to see the championship going down the drain like that.
And there you go.
That's fastest.
I don't think it's gonna be long until we see Nismax putting in some fastest laps.
Now of course with those fresh ultra soft he shoot. But of course at the end of the day, if I were him, I wouldn't even bother. It's just about keeping it clean, staying out of trouble.
Yeah. Cameron is catching Ronald.
Let's hope so, because with all those pit stops now completed, there's no real battles happening at the moment.
Looks
Yeah,
like Aki's catching the W.
after all these pit stops, they've evenly well-spaced gaps between each car. So no battles to speak of. That gap between 9th and 10th, a minute. What is that? Gap between 8th and 9th, a minute and a half.
Yeah. And guys, Aki's closing on DW. Gap was at 14, it's now at 13.2.
But he's 2.5 laps left for that. That's the thing. How quick is he gaining?
That's down to 12.9. Start of lap it was 14.
Staffy's having a very lonely race. Man in front of him is 50 seconds ahead. Man behind him is a minute and a half behind.
No, Aki's catching, it's 11.9. Well, DW might just be taking it slow.
I'm sure if the gap gets too small, DW will react. He has done 7 laps on those ultras. Springbok Goma in a similar situation, 6 laps.
The gap down to 10.7. So.
No battles happening on track for the time being. The only between 3rd and 4th, it's come down now to 6 seconds, and it's dipped into the 5s. So Springbok Goma finding some serious pace and making some inroads on DW. It was 11
DW. That's maybe why DW lost so much time. Getting led by the He's still closing. At the right with DW. And
Cameron. Ooh.
I'm waiting to see where it happened. Maybe at the hairpin. Excuse me. Before the hairpin.
3 seconds. Oof.
RTA and DW now right there with each other. For third.
Oh no, sounds like the wave's coming back.
This side as well, eh? I'm hearing it went quiet, but now
Yes,
there's a lot
yes.
of thunder and lightning again. And we're far from each other, so this is one hell of a storm system.
Big time. And that's also
So
playing
next on this way,
obviously,
please.
that's contributing towards your connection with some guy's internet. Wazzy! Cam said
Cameron
no,
has left the session. Not interested in watching.
and Wazzy has left the building. Never mind the session.
I think Cameron did have a frustrating race there in the middle.
Correct.
I think he battled there with Ronald and Ronald's issues. Regardless of all that, Ronald's still holding strong in 6th place. Nozmax that gap 1 minute and 8 seconds.
Not the right on DW now.
I think this is a case of DW and Beer not being friends.
This is now,
Ooh, at least looking on the outside.
this is obviously 2 different tiers.
There was a
This
bit
is
of
just for
touching wheel
pride.
to wheel.
This is 2 different tiers. This is just for pride. You want to finish on the podium in Singapore for the final Grand Prix of the season.
Well, with this rate,
Really
you must just
following
keep it clean.
DW closely.
You still got enough laps to make this count.
That got a bit
Go a
close.
bit wide, getting the better driver
Well,
out of the corner.
What's actually a funny thing to note is that these two are battling DW and Springbok Gamer. They're battling for 3rd place. But if the position is the same, both of them would pick up 18 points for 2nd place.
In their respective tiers, yes. Oh, that duo.
So even if
Whoa. That looked freaky.
Springbok Gamer, even if Springbok Gamer does get past same
Die
amount
wet is
of
nog
points,
met ons.
but
Aye.
Yeah, I'm just checking if Yvette's still watching.
also another thing to remember is that these two are
Why?
extremely close on.
Why, what now, who, what?
Interesting, it doesn't look like Ati opened his DRS on the main straight.
No, but it's lagging again
Ooh,
because
and
I'm seeing some
Ati
weird stuff.
misses his breaking point.
No, it's just gonna have to redo it from scratch. And time is running out.
Another thing to remember is that a lot of these gaps are big, so it won't really apply. But anywhere where there is a small gap, like between 3rd and 4th, penalties are going to come into the equation. So
Staffy
whoever's got the
again
more
into the wall.
penalties,
Jeez. Let's check. I don't see Springbok Gamer anymore. Warning, warning.
Nou, okay, cool. Nee, check maar net of jy so stil raak. Of raak die suspense bietjie hoog as so in die boot household. Lap 59 of 61 and Springbok Gamer is going to have another go with DW.
Pump up your ERS.
Of course, coming now into this DRS zone.
But he's still running non-ERS. Interesting.
I can imagine how dry his throat really gets, you weet. Oh, Attie, oh, Attie. Just letting DW know he's there. Nee, kyk maar, jy weet, hou sy keelman nat, hy's amper daar. But of course, you must remember, it's a favor you want returned. Attie coming really close to DW's backside. Now, through that, you weet, through that, go ask for Gaffby. Gaffby will tell you all about don't celebrate too early.
Especially in Japan. In previous seasons, though.
Ooh, GW's car now jumping. Oh, an Attie made contact. Some pieces flying, DW going wide.
Oh, where's DW?
But I think that can be lag more than anything else because GW's car was jumping and all of a sudden Attie's like right in the back of it.
Well, these two guys have one more lap after this one. Oh, they got lapped.
But they already got lapped, so yes.
So Springbok Game and DW are on lap 59 of 61 and Nesmax on lap 60.
The only car that he didn't lap tonight was Stix.
Oof. Wonder if DW also has some damage because... Or is it his tires? Can't be his tires.
Nah.
I think Attie has to get a 6-second gap or more to take that final step on the
because
podium.
bear in mind there's also time penalty still here.
Might be more. Nesmax now on his last lap.
Yeah, just watched riding with him with his last couple of corners. Of course, seeing your new, seeing the
really
champion,
slowly into the corners.
seeing the new champion come bringing the car home. Now Yvette said don't celebrate too early, but I think this is pretty much it.
He's taking it really slow around the corners, not risking the car.
Ooh, Staffy, 5-second time penalty speeding in the pit lane. That's probably also AI. Dirk is 'n goeie champ. 'n Goeie. Wat's 'n goeie, Gav? Champ of is hy 'n goue champ?
Yeah, Nesmax lifting and coasting into the corners.
No, definitely. He wasn't pushing that car a little, at least it. Nah. Clever, clever. I would have done the same. Clever strategy. Oh, bit of way weaving there. Here we go, final corner, and Nesmax comes for the line. Bit of weaving,
Nesmax.
and that's it, and that's your season 1 champion, folks. With 1
Season
point.
5, season 1 of 2018.
Well
Isn't
done,
it more?
Nesmax.
6 points.
But at the same time, let's also say well done to all drivers. We saw some good racing this season.
And it looks like Ati might have third place.
And the Botha household is going to be in jubilation tonight. Now I think a certain captain's going to come visit now again. Enjoy it, Yvette, enjoy it.
Why Racer is throwing donuts. Not caring how many positions he's losing, he's just gonna enjoy himself.
Oh, and Tux, 5-second time penalty, unserved, stop, go. So just adds to that.
Hold on to Wire. His first season at TnB, ending I think in 4th place in the championship.
Just waiting for the Wolf to come out right now. Yeah, Gav, you came this close. It was this close. Could have been any one of you two.
Well done to Nismax.
Here we go, here's your top 3. Of course, it's not the first time we see that Ferrari on there, but of course, Nismax, here's your champion, people.
Season 5, Season 1 on F1 2018.
Season 5, you mouse head. Well done, gents, yeah. Well done, great season. Oh, and it's raining again. No. Yeah, that was quick. And there's your confirmation. Nesmax, Tux, and Springbok Gamer. Where's your top 3? Ronald in the end in 5th with Y-Race at 6. Yeah, and Ati in the end does it's pretty much the same. Yeah, he and DW's got the same amount of penalties, so that's definitely confirmed. Nesmax, Tux, and Springbok Gamer. Let's see if we can get them in here. Went quiet. The castle is talking. No, Gavin is back, yeah. But I think that is pretty much. I think that's pretty much the castle now doing the talking. Let's see if we can get a champion here. And of course, looking for the Springbok man. Here we go. Right, let's see who's joining. No, definitely Nesmax, you and Gav, some good battles. It was always going to be between you two if you look at the race in, race out. Well done both to you guys, well done. Oh, and welcome Dirkie. Mr. Champion Season 1. Just see if we can get the rest of our top 3. Here we go, here comes Tux. Hallo daar, kan jy 'n bietjie meer volume kry? Okay, guys, just while we're waiting for Ati, let's continue. Dirk, I must say, one hell of a race. There was I assume it can only be lagging because right in the beginning you and Tix, then you in front, looks like you pass him and then Tix is in front again. But of course there's a lot of internet issues tonight, a lot of bad weather around, but I mean, champion, one hell of a race, and you just controlled that race, especially at the end. You're pulling away and, of course, sliding down at the end. Give us some perspective here from your point of view. Dirkie, you still with us? Hello? Nismax? Oh. Tix. Oh, guys.
Maybe come back to dirt.
I'm still here.
Okay, there we go. Very soft. Ati.
Ja, meneer.
There we go. Okay, there we go. Got people here. Well done, Ati. One hell of a drive. Yeah, you got some serious speed tonight. I mean, first you and the Force Indias, and right here at the end, you and DW. Why did you eat for breakfast today?
Roast toasties.
Your fresh crispies. But yeah, awesome drive. I mean, at one stage, it looked like the Force Indians won the better tire, but you just made that tire work, and you built enough of a gap to make sure by the time you came out ahead of him. And you just kept on going, and just put DW under pressure as well. So just give us some comments there from your perspective. How did it go?
Yeah, it went well. Considering the rain at the start, which I always struggle in, I sort of held my own. And when we put it after the rain finished, I had a bit of luck. Cameron was a Force Indian. Ronald also, they double stacked, so I jumped him in the queue there, got out in front of him, and from there on, like you said, it just went well, the setup worked. Yeah,
Don't know, but well, great racing from all parties involved there. Nothing serious, and you guys kept it clean. Well done, awesome stuff. Dirkie, can you hear us now? There we go, we got our champion, ladies and gentlemen. Dirk, you and Tix, both of you, what happened in the beginning? That looked like some serious lagging.
Yeah, I don't know. The same on my side. Like, I saw him like inside of my car basically, and then another, I don't know, half a lap, as he said, he was just behind me again. So I have no idea what happened.
But I'm not going to blame anybody in particular because there was a lot of internet issues tonight, and weather's playing up all around to great parts of course, the country, and that's got a big bearing on internet because a lot of guys had issues. But Tex, wow, also great race from your side. What a lap, a blinder of a lap in qualifying. Where the hell did you get that from?
Sure, to be honest, I didn't even expect it at all, because like when I practiced in time trial, like it was nothing like that. I just pulled it out of a hat, to be honest. I have no idea where it came from.
That's probably a magic hat, because well, that one hell of a lap, awesome stuff.
Yes, thanks. But all credit to Nesmax, you did incredibly well, like pulling the race together, lap after lap. Just like me, one lap brilliance. All credit to Nesmax, eh?
But I must give it to you guys.
Dirkie for president.
But all of you guys, well done. I mean, where it's lagging, it's never easy. And you guys kept it together, kept it clean, stayed out of trouble, and you brought it up. Well done to all three of you. Of course, congratulations once again. Well done, our champion, Season 1, Nismax.
I have one question for Miss Max.
Of course you do. Go for it.
Miss Max, after 5 seasons in TnB, in some seasons getting close, being champion, equaling with me on points in the final race, getting close in other. So how does it feel to finally get your first championship in TnB?
Awesome. Me and my wife actually just talked about it before the race. I think it was like 3 seasons that I kept on getting second place, and it's a good feeling.
And of course, and you and
Well
the
done,
pig
Miss
took
Max.
it right to the end. Well done. Thanks for entertaining us all, both to you and Gav.
Yeah, he had some great drives also.
Now, you guys showed it pretty early this season that it's going to go down to you two. But well done. Awesome drive, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, that then concludes proceedings here. Thank you for joining. Of course, we will look at probably another season early in the new year. Take care and hopefully see you guys soon again. Cheerio.
Cheers.